And we're live. Hello there. What is going on, everybody? We're going to be watching the Maul stream for here in a little bit. They're going to be starting up at 6:30, so we're just going to watch along and hang out. I'm going to share this to some social media stuff in just a minute, and we're going to get this going. So hold on. Do that. I'm just sharing this out on social media so everybody can get it. You can watch along. This is probably going to be my last stream of Mini Stravaganza. Hi there. Lando wanted to come say hi too. You gonna hang out, Lando? You're gonna hang out. Why don't you pull up a chair? You can sit next to me. We can talk about some stuff together while we get ready, just for a few minutes, okay? All right. Okay. And I've got this. I'm sharing this out to Twitter and Facebook and Discord. If you guys have any of those you would like to also share with. All right. Well, what do you got there? You got a balloon?
Yeah.
All right. He's got a balloon today. It's a pretty orange balloon.
Yeah.
Do you know who this guy is? Do you know who's on the screen right here? Do you know who this is? Who's that? Do you know who it is?
I don't remember.
You don't remember who that is?
I don't remember his name.
You don't remember his name? His name is Darth Maul.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, or just Maul. And, let's see. They're going to paint him today.
Nearly every single Sith Lord's nickname starts with Darth.
Because that's what all the cool people do. The kids are up. Everybody just got out of bath time and they're getting ready. So funny thing happened just a little while ago. AMG finished up their last stream, and as I was getting ready to kind of get everything set up for this one, they left their microphone on, and so they were talking about some stuff. And yeah, it was pretty funny. And all of a sudden there was like a, guys, the audio's live. They can hear you. And they ran over and shut it off. And it was funny because I'm pretty sure they were saying something about Armada getting another wave announced next month or something like that. I'm joking about the Armada stuff. We were just they were just saying normal chat with each other. But they will need a separatist version of Maul. Separatist version. We already have a separatist version of Maul. Whoa, what are you doing with this? Hey. I got your balloon. All right. I told him he could be on the stream with me for a minute. So he was being a good boy. But yeah. So anyway, so who is your favorite? Tell everybody, who is your favorite Star Wars character?
Obi-Wan.
Obi-Wan? And what does he say something? Does he do anything cool that you like?
I don't know what to say, though.
You don't know what to say? What color is his lightsaber?
Blue?
Okay. And who would win in a fight? Obi-Wan Kenobi or Daddy?
Daddy.
Daddy? Oh, okay, cool. Thanks. Good job. We want Armada news. So, guys, I have some Armada news for you. It's not... it's kind of Armada news. All right. Can you say goodbye to everybody and...
Bye.
Okay, bye-bye, buddy. All right. All right, so I got some Armada news for you guys. So this will probably go into like a summary kind of video or something like that. But during one of the earlier streams, I was kind of tuning. Not one that I was restreaming, but I've noticed that Will Schick often says, he wants this game to go on forever. Like whatever game he's talking about. Like he wants them to survive. He wants to retire and pass this game off to the next company. And it's strange because I had never heard him say anything like that before. It seems like he only started saying that after AMG took over the Star Wars stuff. So it's like, after a lot of like Fantasy Flight people were let go, it's like he kind of started saying this a lot. Like, you know, I really want this game to survive to the next, you know, the next company, you know, like this whole sentiment of, you know, a game's not mine to work on forever, right? And that's fine, you know, that makes sense. But he says it in times when it has nothing to do with anything. Like he's saying, he'll say it during painting streams, and he'll just be painting, and somebody like, "What's your favorite color?" And it's like, "Oh, I like painting Y-wings in pink." Because, you know, I want to retire someday, and these games have to last forever, and you know, and I'm like, you know, I'm paraphrasing here, but like it seemingly comes out of nowhere, and so he's saying, like, you know, in regards with X-Wing, he's like, you know, I know, and this game needs to last for another 25 years. You know, I hope this, you know, I want to retire and go on a beach somewhere someday and let this game go to the next person, and all this stuff. And again, it had nothing to do with what the question that was asked or whatever, but so. I had said, well, so I said in chat, I'm like, does that apply to every game? To all of your games? And, you know, and like, including Star Wars Armada. Does that apply to that? And then he actually took the question. And he goes, yeah, I want Armada to go on and thrive for 25 years. You know? And, you know, granted, I mean, it's just kind of casual conversation at that point, but I think that that's a good thing, because he could have easily just ignored the question. You know, they certainly have no problem kind of tuning out certain questions that they either can't or don't want to talk about. So the fact that he took that question was good, because to me, there's so much ambiguity between where, like, some of these games stand right now. Well, not some of these games, where Armada stands right now. You know, I think X-Wing has a pretty good future laid out over the other day. They're still kind of getting their feet wet with X-Wing, but it does seem like they've got a real good handle on Legion so far. They're off to a real good start on Legion, though, and they announced a ton of stuff, and a lot of really good news for Legion came out of this particular stream. And I think they just don't have it yet for Armada. So I think this kind of frames. I think this weekend kind of frames where they stand with Armada, in that it's a big game. It doesn't have as many waves or particular expansions as some other games do, but it's got a huge following, and it's got a hefty price tag, and it's an important game, and it's also a very popular game. Like, if you look at, you know, what are like the top 5 minis games out right now, or the top 10. Let's say you got the top 10 minis games right now. 4 of them are, you know, under AMG's custody right now, or whatever you want to call it, under their purview, or, you know, under their protection. Or 4 of them are AMG games right now, and so, you know, and Armada is one of those. And so it's good to know that they don't have the clear intentions of just, like, they didn't shelve it, or they didn't put it kind of, shelving isn't the right word, but they didn't kind of set Armada to the side with the intention of discontinuing it. It seems like right now they put it on the shelf, or set it aside right now until they can kind of catch their breath. They're trying, like, Legion is top priority, and then X-Wing is, or I should say MCP, of course, is top priority. But for Star Wars games, Legion is top priority, getting a handle on that, and they kind of have a handle on that right now. There's a little more learning to go, and that'll happen. But it's looking good. X-Wing seems to be their next priority. I think they're still kind of getting X-Wing figured out a little bit. And there were some stumbles there. There's some changes to X-Wing, but I think Armada is farther behind. And you know, I'm going to talk about that more, you know, when we wrap up, because I'll have more. I'm going to keep doing Armada content. We've got to. I don't think there's kind of a cause right now to do a community Wave 11. I think our Wave 11 will come, and I want it to be a real Wave 11 and not a community Wave 11. Unless, of course, they do announce that the game is done, which, I mean, it still could happen. But I think there's actually a much more realistic chance that Armada continues to get expansions under AMG in the future. And so we'll probably, by this time next year, hopefully we'll have better news. I think that'll be a reasonable time frame to expect them to have things kind of sorted out by then. But yeah, so we're getting ready to. They're going to do this final Legion panel. This is, I think, the final Star Wars event of Mini Stravaganza, and you know, there may be some stuff that comes out in their kind of like closing up ceremonies and stuff like that. But I'm not going to restream those. I might watch some of them, but I'm just I'm tired of having to be on for like 3 days straight. It takes a lot out of you, especially having to be on camera and stuff like that. You know, like it's tiring when you go to like a Gen Con or you go to a convention. But even then, you're only like kind of interacting with people like one-on-one. But doing the stream thing is rough because I'm also balancing home life and trying to get dinner ready and trying to feed the dog, and decided she doesn't want to eat her food anymore, and so just like I got a whole bowl of food sitting there right there, and you know, so all of these things, it's interesting. And to be fair, I guess a lot of these, I do think they're kind of in the studio, right? So like they're back working in person right now, which is good. But yeah. So we got some questions from the chat. Now that AMG is designing their own Legion releases, do you think they'll continue with the established pace of waves or move to rapid-fire releases like MCP? That's a very good question. So I'm thinking about that for a minute, because I think the variable in that question is the shipping schedule. Shipping has a lot to do with that. And thank you, Peter. Appreciate you too. Appreciate you, all you guys. But no, I think the shipping situation has a lot to do with the pace of our of releases and how much they can push out. And there's a backlog for things like that. So the stuff that they're designing right now probably isn't at the printer yet, right? So who knows if the shipping situation is going to get better, or you know, heaven forbid it gets worse, you know. So that's obviously going to be a factor. So only knowing what we know right now, I think it's safe to say it'll be still on the slower side. I think, and maybe a little faster than it has been right now. I think once they get stuff going, you know, I would imagine that they would get stuff going and have a little more, you know, a little more rounds in the chamber, so they can kind of release stuff more than like one wave a year, you know. That I think that's reasonable. Or should say maybe more than one wave every 6 to 9 months or something like that. So yeah, I think you could probably expect a wave every 5 to 6 months or so, once they get going, and that includes, you know, everything, all the parts of a wave. So usually waves have at least 6 expansions. Now they may not treat every wave the same. Some waves might be much bigger, some waves might be much smaller. They may do with the new what are they calling them now? The new battle forces. Hold on, I got so many new keywords, so many new things introduced. This is why I take notes, because my old man brain is old, and it's getting to be an old man brain. I just said that. But yeah, the battle forces might introduce the possibility for much smaller waves, right? If they're going to do like Ewoks only, they might do like 2 Ewok commanders, an Ewok core set, and an Ewok glider, and that might be a whole wave. You know, maybe it might just be 4 expansions, you know, because at least it all goes together. And they can work with the rebels too. So you like for the and that's a kind of a cool way to do things too, because you've got these new stuff that can work together. They can work with other factions. Every purchase now gives you different ways to play it, and I think that's going to be really fun for the future of Legion moving forward. And they've kind of started this with the Kashyyyk wave already. The Wookiees having, you know, Rebel and Republic unit cards, like that's a great. To be honest, it actually goes all the way back to R2D2 and C3PO, having both Republic and Rebel cards. So it's not anything that's incredibly new. With you know, getting more bang for your buck, I really like that, and I think in this climate of shipping being more expensive, plastics being more expensive, cardboard being more expensive, and rising living costs, presumably wages, employee salary wages are going to have to go up also, or at least they should. At the end of the day, we're looking at, you know, cost increases, and they just announced cost increases. Those may not be the only cost increases that happen over the next year. There may be a second wave of cost increases. We don't know. But I'd rather plan for there to be cost increases than we don't, or then we do get some and I wasn't planned for it. So I'd rather kind of condition myself that way, and then if it doesn't happen, then bonus. But either way, with all those costs going up, the one way to kind of keep the game kind of thriving is to give more in each expansion. So by having, it's simple, like one of the cheapest ways to make something better is to give you a second card with it. Like, hey, you can run this Boba Fett as Rebels or with Scum in the Mercenary faction. Like, that's pretty cool. You can run this guy with Imperials or Scum, or maybe some units can be run in 3 different ways, right? Like, that is all really groovy stuff. We saw some of that also with Inferno Squad and Arc Troopers, right? We saw plenty of stuff like that. Like, that's really, really cool. And I'm a fan of increasing the value in the boxes. I think that's something maybe they could have done a little more for Armada. I know Armada, they were trying to save costs by not giving us some of the plastic that would come in there in like Wave 10, like no plastic dials and things like that. And that seems fine, but like you didn't add extra value. Well, I guess they started to. No, that's not necessarily true. Armada started to give us extra value also with Clone Wars by giving us 2 commanders with every ship, which is double the amount of commanders you used to get back in just the Galactic Civil War time frame. So they really started to increase the number of commanders available, which gives twice as much tactical sort of decision making in each pack. So I mean, all of these things are good ways to kind of keep your game going despite increased costs. It's the cheapest way. I mean, it still requires some playtesting, but materially, it's the cheapest way to keep these things going. So if you guys are just joining us, they're going to be painting Maul in about 9 minutes. Why does the Wookiee helicopter have 3 unit cards? I don't believe the Wookiee helicopter. I don't believe that has 3 unit cards. I believe it has 1 unit card. I think what you're getting confused with the Wookiee Warriors. The Wookiee Warriors have, I believe, 5 unit cards. A ranged version and a melee version, both for the Rebels. A ranged version and a melee version, both for the Republic. And then the Wookiee Commander for the Republic. 5 unit cards in the Wookiee Warriors. But I believe the Radoch Nasp has only 1 version. Now you can run, it has different pilots and things like that. Because I'm pretty sure just about everything from the Kashyyyk wave has been spoiled by now. Just about. We did get a lot. We got to look at a lot of stuff. I'm gonna have tons to put together and do like summaries. I'm not gonna do just one total summary for everything because I also report on Marvel Crisis Protocol. And that got a lot of new stuff. I got all the X-Men stuff from Marvel Crisis Protocol. They have another panel later tonight. If you guys are interested in MCP, I think they're doing another panel after this on like the future direction of the MCP, of Marvel Crisis Protocol. It will be a failure of the store, but if you're going to reserve the helicopter in the description, it says it has 3 unit cards. Maybe they changed that. I'm going to go check that out, actually. Let's just see. I'm at the Asmodee store. I'm at the Asmodee store. All right. Let's see. If you're gonna add it, what does it say? What does it got? Specifications. I'm reading over it right now. Is this some? Huh. I don't know. Let's see. All right, there it is. I don't know. Mousing over here. Right there. It says 1 unit card. Can you see that? 1 plastic miniature, 1 unit card, 5 upgrade cards, 14 assorted tokens, 1 rule sheet. That was the Scottish flag for the Radaghnasp. Oh, yes, right. Oh, me and my Wookie. We went down there and he started throwing the... I can't do it. I'm sorry. I'm not going to be disrespectful to Scottish people. I don't mean to be disrespectful. I apologize. We're just having a good time. Having a marginally good time. That's kind of funny. So yeah. All right, that looks good. So where they're going to be painting Maul. This is the new version of Maul that they're going to be painting today. So one of the things I'm curious about tonight also is if this new sculpt, like, how does it look like when they're moving it around? Because like this image didn't look all that great, and then the other, like the 3D rendering, like it looks like his neck is kind of collapsed into here, like he's doing one of these. And they're like, he needs to do that. But he's in here like this. So there's things you can do. There's things you can do. Like you could like not put his head on all the way, or put some green stuff in there to kind of fix it. Like you could do a lot of that. You could. And they're getting ready to go live soon. We're 5 minutes out. 5 minutes and counting. So if you guys are here, you're more than welcome to hang out. And we'll switch over. I'll watch this. And which AI protocol do you think is best for the spider droids? I think the AI move and attack is probably going to be a good one for them, since they may want to shoot, but then they may also want to self-destruct. It depends. I think it also depends on which weapon you're using. If you're going long range, if you're going with the flamethrower, you want to get up in there. But I also like the getting the free aim and precise 2. Like that's one of my favorite ones overall. I just like getting precise 2 for free on somebody, and that's groovy, especially with the long range. If you're going like range 3 or range 4, I think having aim and precise 2 is really good. Do you think we can see Crimson Dawn? I think we will see Crimson Dawn someday. I don't know how prevalent they're going to be here, because I mean, how much have we seen of like a Crimson Dawn person outside of Dryden Voss and outside of Solo, a Star Wars story? You know, like would you even recognize them? Like, did they even have uniforms outside of that little insignia, right? Like Kira had it, but like you really kind of just saw, I don't know. I gotta go watch Solo again and take a look at like some of the background people and like the dude who's like taking their weapons when they come in. Like, did they have a uniform on? Because I couldn't even tell you. Obviously, it wasn't very iconic or recognizable if they did. So, like I think Black Sun has the most recognizable uniforms. The Pikes are recognizable because they're all the one race. I mean, Black Sun, at least their leadership is all the one race. But like the troops could be, humanoid or conscripts or something like that. Who knows? Probably not conscripts, but I think you need to have an empire to conscript people. But I guess the Jedi kind of conscript people, don't they? They go around snatching babies up. The Jedi aren't very good, are they? It's like, you there, your child. I can tell that child has many chlorians. Yes, you'll have to give him over to the Order. We need more babies. I mean, gosh, you could really write a horror movie, kind of like paint like somebody like Darth Maul out to be a hero. He's like, those Jedi, they go around stealing babies, claiming to have. We all know midi-chlorians aren't real, but they have this little cell phone that they hold up and like, oh, very high midi-chlorians. Like it's kind of weird. It's kind of creepy, man. The Jedi could be bad dudes. I don't know. I mean, from my point of view, the Jedi are evil. I don't. We're having fun. We're having fun. But hopefully you guys are having a good time. Yeah, we're gonna be watching them paint some. Look, Dallas Kemp, dude. Earlier, like he's just really good at painting. Like, I mean, he painted up that whole the whole Persuader tank in an hour. And he was done before the hour was done. They cut him off early. It was like, well, all right, you're done, dude. We need to set up for the next one. You know, and he's like, am I done? I don't think I'm done yet. But they're like, yeah, you're done. You need to go get some dinner. This is your only chance to eat. Now go eat that pizza. I don't know. I had pizza for dinner tonight. I got pizza for the kids. I was super dad for getting pizza for everybody. All right. All right, so we have... Oh, man. We're doing good. We've got more than half the audience that AMG actually has. That's kind of funny. But, yeah, so they're going to be painting... Maul. And... they're should be starting any minute now. They should be starting in literally 1 minute. When do you think the huts will make an appearance? Well, I think the door is definitely open. I think with the battle groups or the battle forces, it allows you to really put anybody in, no matter how small of a force they might have, as long as you can come up with some kind of excuse.
Oh, hello there. Welcome to Painting Maul. I just had to do it. Day 3 of Mini Stravaganza is rolling along. We've had so much fun, so many reveals, so many teases, so many spoils, and so much just excitement. We are painting Maul. So I have a Maul coming from the new Shadow Syndicate collection. It sounds like the fall collection, right? The new fall collection. Maul. Maybe we'll do fall collection Maul. Who knows? Actually, I'm going to keep him pretty simple and canonical. So we got this miniature all built up. We're going to paint it today. I'm going to go over how I approach it, and maybe it'll provide some inspiration, aspiration, and some education for you. What are we talking about? You're already on the mini cam. I'm still talking to the camera. Kevin's already flipped it over there. So I got Maul. Let me get that light the way I want it. And you can see here, he's got the little robot legs. He's leaping forth. If you listen to the design panel earlier, Preston was talking about like when they were designing this miniature, it was cool to add this sort of piece of broken Mandalore architecture to help accentuate his aggressiveness. So, and yeah, I built this one with the dark saber. I think they showed the other option. If not, teaser. And we're just going to start some painting. The very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to paint the lightsaber bright yellow. Now, I've done a couple of videos on magic effects, glow effects. We did last mini Stravaganza. I did Darth Vader lightsaber, and I'm going to kind of approach this the same way. Since it's a bright red lightsaber, I'm going to kind of approach it the same way. What have I already painted today? A ton. Just a ton. So that, and then the next thing I want to do is I want to make a wash. I got like a yellow wash here. Mix that up on the palette. And I'm going to give his face a yellow wash. Now the reason I do this is because I want to set up some pretty bright tones for my reds, and yellow will help provide that. I will be doing some glazes over these yellows of reds, and that will help create the overall look of our Maul here. Gotta think about where the red is, where the black is on him. I definitely am using reference. I have reference up on one of my monitors to remind myself of where all the little lines are. And if anything pulls up too heavily, I'll take that second brush, clean that up. I don't want paint pulling up in those little face markings. Savvy, and you can see these are sculpted on. The little tattoos are sculpted on. Some things will leave the freehand. Some things we'll try to sculpt on. It's a lot of it's a matter of, you know, there's a lot of factors that go into what can be sculpted on and what has to be freehanded. A lot of engineering considerations, production considerations, things like that. So I want just some more yellow. He's got a bare chest. Just want some yellow on there to brighten that up. There we go. Yeah, with that ochre, he is kind of looking like Savage. All right, let's take a little brown. Now his shirt is brown. I'm just going to kind of wash over the zenithal. Because I want some of that white showing through the top. Lets me build in my shadows and highlights much easier. This miniature, super excited to be painting this up. When this came over from the Fancy Flight Design Studio, it was, saw it and I was like, that's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. And then we started working on, we had the kind of raw sculpt, and we worked on it a little bit, and I thought this is a great little dynamic Maul. So it's pretty fun finally getting to see him paint it up. Is Maul red with black stripes or black with red stripes? That's a great question. How do you choose to use as a primer? I use airbrush primer. I almost always prime with an airbrush. I don't like fighting against humidity. I don't like opening a can of canned primer and shaking it and it being bad and wrecking a perfectly good miniature. So I use primer. I use airbrush primer because it's more controllable and predictable. So red, the reason it's yellow right now is because it's setting up the red. I'm going to use it to set up the red. How do I choose a paint to use? Oh, I answered that question. I got it. Nailed it. Nailed it. Did it. I answered that one. So I'm going to take some gray. And I'm going to sketch in some highlights over the zenith. And the reason I'm doing this is because I want kind of a different tone than the white and black provide for the black jerkin. So I'm going to use this to kind of sketch in some additional different toned highlights. We're going to wash this with a black here in a moment. So everything I'm doing is just setting up the next steps. We're preparing. We have to prepare for battle. Pally says, asks how much is the base texture by myself and how much is that? There, the little palisade of Mandalorian architecture is sculpted and comes with the miniature. And some of these rocks and gribble come with the miniature. I added all the little gravel and a couple little sculpted rocks to kind of increase the overall story. I said prepare for battle and I got a song stuck in my head. Yikes. Oh, this shoulder, just like that. Quick and easy. Let's add a little white to that. Go to the tippy tops. Like I said, we're just preparing for the next steps. If you've been watching me paint all weekend, you probably haven't seen me do anything like this. It looks weird right now. It kind of feels like light side Maul. Do the base elements come pre-attached to the base, or is it a blank base that you can add your own scheme to? Yeah, it's just a basing element, so it's a blank base, and then the little plastic element just gets glued to it, so you can do kind of whatever you want. I mean, even if it came with a fully sculpted base, you could always just use another base and do whatever you want. We do make hobby games after all, so feel free to hobby. Decorate the base how you want. If you want to do indoor, not inside, but ENDOR, indoor assault Maul, like, you know, decorate him up on some verdant base. Like we talk in several other streams, the joy of hobby miniature games for me, and hopefully you too, what it provides, I guess, is the best way to say, is that ability to tell the story yourself and to create something that you can be uniquely proud of, right? This is my Maul. This is my Padme. So you get to paint it your way and tell the story and be part of the universe. And that's what's really cool about. And what's unique about miniature games is you can take the miniature and not only tell the story on the tabletop with your friends through the process of rolling dice and stuff like that. You get to tell that narrative and, oh man, do you remember that time Maul like charged and like, oh, it was the best. But you get to paint up the miniature and be like, well, you know, I decided I wanted Maul to be yellow, ochre like Savage. And that's cool. So we're doing the silver legs. And the little silver bits on his belt and wrist and the lightsaber. So this is the part of the measure where it's like, it's called the ugly phase a lot of times. We call it the ugly phase. It's a professional term. Or it doesn't quite make sense yet. but it will. I mean, I hope. I hope it's going to make sense. It might not. I might boff it. I have boffed it before. This is the natural part of learning and growing and being a human. I'm totally not looking at chat because I'm mobile. This is not Savage Press. This is Maul. I just have him yellow right now. We're going to build into the red, which I think we'll do now. I'm going to take some red. And come into the torso here. So what's going to happen is that's going to give, that yellow is going to provide a nice undertone to the red to make it a little richer and a little more vibrant. We don't want that on our dark saber. Now we'll repaint it later. So grumpy looking. This is the grumpiest looking man. I painted a couple of Maul faces recently, and I always have to like double check the red versus black placements here. His cheeks are black, his ears are black, those squiggles are black, and we sort of came through and simplified the shapes around the mouth, because he actually has like a very complex he has these very complex shapes on his mouth, so we sort of simplified those. To make them stand out and be a little easier to deal with. Because they were pretty tricky. And just casting, let me tell you, casting, really tough on this. It looks like Josh got, after he got ruffle stomping around for, I thought Josh had that. I thought he had it. I was rooting for Josh. All right, let's take some black. We're going to take black wash. We're going to go over his Sith robes. Because he's not Sith, actually. Not in this version. We're going to just go over that. And you can see that kind of warm gray provides a wonderful new dynamic to that black wash once we apply it. Being real careful not to get it on his face for some reason. You can totally get it on the back of his head. It doesn't matter. That's the back of his head is totally black. but habits of being careful. Working around that dark saber. I'm not allowed to talk about the rules for this mall. I think we got some. I'm sure the development team want to talk about some stuff with him. Plus, I don't have cards in front of me. I'll just get it wrong. No glove this time? No, I got a kickstand. I got my kickstand, so I don't need a glove. Let's do this. Speaking of. Same black wash right over the gloves and the silver of his gloves. And I am painting this up just for myself, so it can be a little messy, it can be a little unclean. It doesn't have to be perfect, you know? It's for gameplay. It's not for competition, so I don't feel compelled to make it perfect. I feel compelled to make it cool and awesome and to bring me joy. That's the destiny of this miniature. So that same black wash right over top of the silvers there. We can go to the belt. I like his wrestling belt here. What are your thoughts on painting iconic characters versus painting non-iconic characters? Are you meaning painting them in their non-canonical colors? Is that the question you're asking? Just want to make sure I understand the question fully before I answer. There's been plenty of times I think I understand the question and I don't, and then I bop it. I shall await your clarification and happily answer to the best of my ability. That's really all I can do. Just do stuff to the best of my ability. It's all any of us can do. Oh, for my own stuff? No, I painted what I think looks cool from my own stuff. Now, painting for work, that's a different story altogether. We're just going to use the same black wash once again. And the lightsaber and the glove over here. This shirt's really sticking out now. Needs a dark wash. Needs to be darkened up. I do some conversions. I used to do more. I've gotten lazy over the years. I love conversions. I love a good classic conversion where somebody takes a bit from one miniature and a bit from another miniature, kit bashes them together, uses some putty, some guitar wire. I always think that stuff is just so cool looking. Blackwash on the metal legs. Alright, let's start blackening in the skin. Yeah, this guy looks great from a lot of angles. It's got that power and dynamism. And a lot of times in photography, things get sort of, there's a foreshortening effect in photographs. So things can look kind of smashed up. It's a really tricky thing to deal with, especially with miniatures. So it's always looks better when you get it in person. You can kind of really see what's going on to rotate it around. And get the feeling and the emotion out of the miniature. This little diamond is black. We're going to take our time here or I'm going to mess it up. I'm going to be real patient. I'm not going to rush. I'm going to take my time. Pick and choose where I put my paint. I really need a better picture of him, I think. Oh yeah, there we go. I know I can't see that. I'm painting his eye sockets. He's got the ones above his mouth. This is kind of one of the areas we sort of simplified. And I always forget which way the dot in the center. So we had to simplify his chin because he's got a lot of chin markings and there's not a lot of space there. There's a lot of markings going around that chin. There's a really tiny little area. Not a lot of space. It's black paint, just really thin. So I just add a little water and got a good fine tip brush and just sort of paint it on. Just going at it. The squiggles go up and around the horns, if I remember correctly. I call those the squiggles. The Maul squiggles. Not bad, not bad, not bad. Feeling pretty good. The rubble base is separate. Underside of his nose is black. I feel like I'm forgetting something. I really need a real zoomed in picture of his face. Like a super zoomed in picture. There we go. Zigzags. Oh. This goes back. We'll go around that horn. A little more wet paint. It's got the tiniest little dot. Tiniest little dot. Now you can see why I did the yellow now, right? Like once that black goes on there, and that yellow and that red work together, it really makes the face stand out. It kind of provides some instant highlighting to the red. Nobody's very talkative. Chat, I'm your captive audience. We're enthralled. Just use that tip of that brush. Let the brush do its job. The brush wants to work. And I know sometimes the brush can be obtuse. I've dealt with obtuse brushes before too. Sometimes you're like, brush, do the job. And the brush is like, nah, dog. Like, please. And it's like, nope. Not today, mate. You're like, okay, fine. Then you make it bend to your will. With the power of the Dark Saber. Alright. Chest tattoos. He's so ripply. These I'm not going to be super picky about. Good enough. Battle Forces. You have to go watch stream on that one. I just want to say you're my favorite painter. Oh no, don't say that. You're gonna make me blush. Kevin knows I'm a blusher. Thank you, Moltus. I appreciate it. That's my goal. I want you to feel like you can paint. You know, I want everybody to be able to accomplish what they set out to do, right? You know, we're all on different points of the same path, and you know, if sometimes I need motivation to get off the couch and not play my new video game and paint. I paint a lot, though. I gotta admit, I do paint a lot. But hopefully, we at Atomic Mass help provide some inspiration for you to get your army painted up and, you know, try something new, right? We're all here to do stuff for fun, and miniature games for us is the most fun we can have. Many of us are longtime miniature hobbyists and gamers. You know, Sheikh Pagani and I have been around the block a few times, and Josh, Kevin, you know, we love miniature games. It's a lot of fun and interesting and cool. How to get a good effect that combines rubble like on MCP. I'm not quite sure what you mean. Can you please clarify Mike's coder just a little bit more? I would not pick up the Dark Saber. I don't want that kind of responsibility. That's too much responsibility. I got plenty of responsibility. I don't need more. Dark Saber or lightsaber effects. Gonna take some white, some yellow. This is something I've been playing with and practicing. I don't know if I quite have lightsabers the way I want them, but I keep trying new ways of going about it, and eventually I'll get exactly what I want, or close enough, something to that. Yeah, you can do the same thing. You can cover this up and make it like put some putty in this and just make it a rock, and then pumice over it. This is just pumice and gravel over top of it. You know, I hobbied my base, you know, like a hobbyist. So you can do the same thing. I think I've said it before, you know, to a hobbyist, all bases are blank. Everything is just a canvas for you to explore and play on. And with a hobby, all things are possible. So if you can dream it, you can be it. Let's put some of this khaki on there. All right, let's start. What time is it? Oh. Do I got plenty of time? Do I? 20 minutes? Seems like I need to work on... I still need to... Let's do the Dark Saber. Everyone wants to see Dark Saber, right? Is that right? Let's do Dark Saber. And then hopefully get to the lightsaber. I think we can do it both. So Brendan painted the Dark Saber on the Studio Mall. I'll let that dry a minute. And he sent me a few images, and I was like, do this, do this. He's like, got it. And of course he nails it, right? So I kind of like, this is how I would paint it, approach. And he's like, yep, that makes sense. Got it. And of course he paints it and just knocks it out of the park and makes it look super cool. So, you know, usually I come into these, I'm like, I don't have a plan. I actually have a plan because I directed the only other one that's been painted in the world. So I kind of know what I want, and I'm going to approach it the exact same way and see if I can pull it off as good as Brendan. That's going to be the trick, because Brendan's good. I love painting with somebody like Brendan who kind of shores up my weaknesses and I shore up his. We're gonna let that dry just a little bit more. That dark Saber has just a few wet spots. I want to grab some red paint, some red ink actually. I want to thin that out a lot. Really thin it out. We're going to let that dry. This is probably going to take a couple layers. All right, dark Saber, pure white on the brush. We're going to start on the back edge here. Is this sliding around? Is this me? It's me. Let's get that. How's that look? Can everybody see it good? So I'm going to use the side of the brush. The very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to paint an edge. Like so. I'm going to do that whole front edge. I'm going to come in do little tiny dots. Right now they can be pretty uniform. They don't have to quite hit the edge if you sort of buff it. Gets harder as you get to the tip because you're running out of space to make them interesting. Oh, hello, Miss Half Damage. I have not seen you in a while. Hello, hello, hello. We're going to do the same thing on the back edge. Can y'all see that? I would normally flip him upside down for this. Whoops. It's okay. Whoops is okay to say when you're a miniature painter, not when you're a tattooist. I'm going to go back over again. Kind of expand on the idea. Make sure the tip is wet, the paint is loose. Always kind of vary the direction of the brush. I kind of rotate the brush if you're paying attention. Here and there. Paint's getting dry. Sorry, I'm kind of in the zone. I think I could literally do that all day. I'm getting crashed. Party crasher chick.
That's what happens when they tell you this is the hobby studio, and then they tell you, oh no, you're in the other studio.
The other studio.
You gotta come get all your hobby stuff.
Grim Wolf UK, hi from the UK. Dallas is that looking at the mall. Could I guess give him a dark saber and twin lightsaber? Yes. I don't know if you can in the game, but you miniature wise you can. I can't stop you. I'm not the AMG police. That's Josh.
Josh is the fun police.
Stop the fun, guys.
Yeah, that's exactly. It sounds just like him.
Listen to me. Listen to me. Listen to me.
Listen to me.
Listen to me.
I love Josh. Where would we be without him? Nothing exists.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to go back to the lightsaber. They're going to pretend like that's not loud.
What's not loud?
Look at him. That's a professional. Legit chick. How many minutes? 5? I can't see her hand. I'm 8 minutes. I don't think I can quite finish an 8. I don't think I can quite finish an 8. Sorry, chat. We can highlight our cloth though. So I'm just take that same gray we painted earlier and add some black to it. All right, chat, we only got 8 minutes, and then we got, coming up next is a new challenger. I believe that chick is painting, correct? Yeah, I think that's why I came and got the hobby stuff. All the paint's in this studio. I stole it all, chat. So get ready for that. let's discuss. What do we have left on our Maul here? Is there anything you want to see before we go? I don't quite have the lightsaber done. We're just letting that ink dry. Whoops. Clean it up with the second brush. Want the getch. Says the dark saber is amazing. Thank you. We're going to go back to some yellow. And we're just going to keep building up this effect. 5 minutes. What color is his horns? They're just bone, right? Yeah. So I usually do, I've been doing these lightsabers in several steps. And I like the way they look. I usually pick 3 sides for light, one of them being toward the ground. He's gonna be so close to done, but he's not gonna get done. But that's okay, we had so much fun painting up our mall. Painting up our mall. I'm just in the zone right now. Just work your way around. He's got so many little horns. Oh, MJ Sculpts, I hear that is. Mike Jones, what up? Mike works very closely with Marco and the engineering team as the sculpt coordinator. Making sure all the sculpts. Am I supposed to say that, Mike? Or are you in secret alias land? I apologize. I apologize if I ruined it. I might have made Mike mad at me. Sorry. He's like cussing at me right now. Dallas, you weren't supposed to say who I am. Yeah, get into the zone. Like the Zen. I talk about like your brain gets in that alpha state where you're just kind of floating and doing exactly what you want to do. It's really relaxing and great. I got like what, 2 minutes?
Probably a little bit less.
A little bit less than 2 minutes. He's got 2 horns around the back of his head. I still need to shade and highlight the horns, but at least I got a base coat on them. Wrap it up, they're saying. Wrap it up. All right. Well, that is our 1 hour on Maul. As usual, hopefully it was inspirational, aspirational, and educational. I think he's looking pretty good. I just got a few things to finish up. I got to finish up the lightsaber. I got to do a little highlighting on the metals and the blacks. Shade the horns and dot the eyes one more time, and then finish up the base. And then we got a Maul ready to hit the table. So get ready. We're going over to new challengers. See us in 5 minutes, and see you later. Bye.
All right. No, that was pretty good. I think the big takeaway was that they're different versions of the sculpt, like spinning it around. You can see that like this is just not a flattering image. It actually looks a lot better than that. So I think that was my big takeaway. I think it looked great. They didn't really talk any gameplay or spoilers or anything like that. But I am still curious how they did this effect on this image here, because that's not... I feel like this might have been some photoshopping or something like that, because that's just a little bit crazy. Like, look, it's literally... like, it's coming off. Like, the glow is coming off the saber. That's just not possible. So... but yes. And so those of you guys asking in chat, yeah, they already confirmed, like, all the stuff from The Mandalorian is coming. Even the child, they're doing Baby Yoda, they're Moff Gideon, IG-11, all of them are coming. And I think that's, yeah, that's all, like, long-term stuff. They confirmed all of that stuff in the last stream. So, yeah, unless I dreamt it, but I'm pretty sure they confirmed. I'll go double-check my notes before I do the wrap-up video. But I'm pretty sure they did confirm all of that. All right, that's going to do it for me for today. There's still more to be streamed if you want to do Marvel Crisis Protocol stuff or just the closing ceremonies. But I am through. I'm going to go watch some UCF football. I've got my UCF Mando shirt on today. Support my local team, and I'll see you guys later. Big thanks to everybody who did tune in today, and be sure to check out Discord and make sure you. I posted all the giveaways that were going into Discord in there already, so you can go and check out the giveaways channel in Discord and get all that stuff. Big thanks to my patrons. You guys are amazing, so thank you for your continued support. Always make sure when you're clipping your toenails, like, don't just like. Be careful, because they can go flying and you can take somebody's eye out that way. So, like, maybe get like a bag or put a sheet over yourself or something. Keep them toenails from flying all over the place. You guys have a great day.